Today on the podcast, I'm interviewing Gail Bearden from Little Brown Jug Estate Sales. Tune in to find out how she started her company, who she helps, and how she partners with our clients through the selling process. Thank you for doing this with me today. I've been wanting to do this for several years. When we first met, okay, let's just start with, what is your company?
It's a Little Brown Jug Estate Sales. We were established in 2001. My mother and another person, a friend, encouraged my mom along with other family members. Our family had just been through a huge tragedy. We lost my sister and her husband and their baby in a car accident. And so we had downsized their estate. To back up, we had actually worked with another lady for years in the estate sale company business. So to kind of bring a new aspect to this business, we decided that, there is a need to help people. It's not just about liquidating their assets. It's about, treating that person and what they're going through. And so as kind of therapy for all of us, we just started this business, and it took off. So it's wonderful. Meet a lot of neat people.
So how do your clients typically find you?
A lot of different ways, actually. Some of them, it's just word of mouth, or they see our signs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are realtors like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We work with quite a few different, established realtors, and they know that they can call us and say, hey, we need an estate sale. So we try to work around their schedules. So it's just a different array of ways that people find us.
And typically, so the times that we work together, I can remember kind of three different scenarios, right? So Mary had inherited a house. She was the executor, and
Mm-hmm.
she was in charge, boots on the ground here. She had to do everything, and it was all of the heirs. And then another time we had clients who were relocating out of country. They had lived in the house 25 years. They were only going to take a fifth of their belongings with them. So they wanted to liquidate and just kind of go abroad much lighter. They managed the sale for themselves. And then the other time we worked together, the son was technically doing all the work. It was the mother and the son working together. Her husband had passed away a year before, and we were kind of working on helping them liquidate everything. So who else? So heirs of property, people downsizing, who else should be thinking about estate sales?
Well, a lot of times we work with different lawyers who are in charge of, some people have no family, or they choose, the legal aspect of someone helping them liquidate their estate, or in charge of, their funds and their possessions. And so we do get some of our clients are through, a lawyer or a legal person that is in charge of these estates, and they need help. And we liquidate their estate, the belongings that they don't want to take with them, or, those people have passed, and estate needs to be divvied up among those that are deemed privy to all of that. It's a very interesting and very diverse clientele.
Okay, let's just say from start to finish, what is the process like? Okay, so I've inherited the house, and I call you.
Right. So you've inherited a house that's full of, maybe 60 years of treasures, or just 20, it just depends. But at that point, the person is usually, when they call us, they're very overwhelmed, because you walk into a home and every nook and cranny are full of treasures, memories, things like that. And we always tell people, just, it's okay. We will get through this. And my saying is, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. Mm-hmm. So we make an appointment with them. We come and take a look at what they are thinking. We talk with them. I think the best asset of our company is that we don't rush through a situation. Each situation is very different, and we approach it that way. Sometimes it's a very emotional hard situation. Sometimes it's, yay, we're doing this. This is exciting,
Mm-hmm.
So we would meet with them, establish the fact that there's enough for an estate sale, and we sell everything top to bottom that they want us to. So we encourage them to take their belongings, what they want to keep, and then we set a date. And it usually takes us a week or two. We come in, we pull everything out, we try to make it look as nice as possible. We merchandise, we take a bunch of pictures, we advertise on estatesales.net. That's where everyone advertises. And then we hold our sale.
How do you know the value of things? Because there's so many things in a house. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
like
right, top to bottom. Right.
top to
I know.
bottom.
I
Like,
know.
and then people have all these special things and like things from the 40s and things from the 20s and things they've inherited, things that have been in their
Right.
family. Like, how do you do the research on that special kind of one of a kind item?
Well, a lot of it is knowledge.
Mhm.
Doing this for 23 years, it's just, we know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too. We have to follow the trends. So, 30 years ago, antiques were the big thing. 30 to 40 years ago, I mean, huge. Now it's mid-century modern. So anything like that, those have gone up in value greatly. And so you have to follow those trends. A lot of it is research on, we are very fortunate. It used to be we lugged all these books around for the glassware and the china and, certain pieces of antique furniture. Now it's at our fingertips. We carry it in our phone. We research, we also have a lot of people that we have established relationships with that are experts on different things. And so if you have a collection of glass or just whatever, we have, and not just one person, we can call and a survey says, I have this item and I need you to take a look at it. Let me know what you think. And it might be 2 or 3 different people that we would call and say, what are your thoughts on this? And then we do our own research, back it up with that. So it's not just a guessing game. It's more, we try to get the most money for the client,
Hmm.
for those items. So, and a lot of times it's sentimental value. A lot
Hmm.
of times if the client says, I collected this for 40 years and, this is very special to me, but I just can't take it with me. We'll put a good price on it, because if it was special to them, it's going to be special to someone else. So
Yeah. And then if it doesn't sell the first day,
then we go half price. We
right?
we bargain. We do take bids for items on the first day if they don't want to, wait and take a chance that it might be gone the second day. We call those people back. We take names and numbers. We do everything we can to liquidate as much as possible.
And then what happens at the end? So how does everything typically sell out? What happens with the things that didn't sell?
I would say in a estate sale, there's always about 20% left. It's just
Mhm.
a given, especially in these homes that we go in and there's, 60 years of accumulation. There are just some things that aren't going to sell. So we do offer clean out at that point. It is through a third party. We contract with a third party, we oversee it. And this is an option that we give our clients. A lot of times there are a lot of family members and they're able to do their own clean out. So um, it's not, something that they want to choose because it does come with a cost.
Right.
Clean out involves a lot of muscle,
Hmm.
um, a lot of, to be nice and gentle about it, there's always a lot of junk that has to get rid of also.
Right. Right.
We've accumulated, it's just the norm. There's chemicals that have to be recycled. There are electronics, there are maybe appliances that have sat in the basement for years and years, and those can't go in the landfill. So that does come with a cost.
How do you get paid through this whole process?
Okay, so what we do is we hold the sale and we collect all the money. And then we do not itemize each item that sells. However, there might be some larger items that they're curious about, and I may, record those. But I total the sum of the money that is collected on those 2 days. And then we charge 35% across the board. So it's pretty simple.
Okay, so you sell everything that you can sell. At the end of the second day, you count all the money in the cash register. That's the total profit.
Yes.
Little Brown Jug is paid 35%, and
Yes.
then the remainder goes to the
Yes.
homeowners. Okay.
Yes. They usually receive a check within, I'd say, 7 to 10 days after the sale is over.
Mhm.
And here's what was made, here's what we kept out of the sale. Thank you so much for choosing us.
Mhm.
And that's it. It's really a very simple process, on their part, basically.
I mean, I've seen you do it, and so when you say it's really a simple process, I'm like, it's not, because I've seen
It's a
the
simple process for the client. I
I
always say, okay, now breathe, and we will take over.
right, but
So
it
we
is
just,
not a simple process for you,
it
because
is not.
I've seen you, like, at a place at 7 a.m., and it's still at that same place at, like, 8 p.m.,
Yes.
and then
And we
back
are meeting
and then
people,
back
and
the
we are,
next day.
yes, yes. And that is a full, like I said, 7 to 10 days of setting up, pulling
Yeah.
out. We don't want to miss a thing. Some things are hidden. And that's the other thing, is because we are going through everything in this person's home.
Every
We tell them
everything.
everything,
I
like
know.
half a tube of toothpaste, and the things that get shoved way in the back in the crevices. And I tell them, if we come across something that is in question, sentimental or of value, those items are brought to the owner's attention right away.
Mhm.
We say, hey, we found this, do you want us to still sell it, do you want to keep it? They always have that option, because it is their stuff.
Right, and they had no idea, right? Because a lot of
Right.
my clients, the children who've inherited houses, and I say children, I mean, a lot of, like, Mary was 65, but
Right.
she was the child that grew
Right.
up in the house, right? And most of them haven't been in the home for 15, 20, 30 years.
Yes, we find
Oh
everything.
my God.
We do have a lot of families that were transplants of the war, with their
Oh, really?
parents, grandparents, and we find things, that they may be of value, but they're more value to the family. And
Right.
so we are very, very sensitive to that. And they have to trust us. That's the other thing. We we established this business on great integrity, I would say. You know, you have to be able to trust the estate sale person that you are contracted with.
Right.
So,
Because you have no idea what is in the very back of the drawer.
right, exactly.
Mm. Man,
It's interesting. Yeah.
like, looking back over your career, what was one of the things you were most surprised to find, or something you brought to a client's attention and they were most surprised to find?
Um, well, I think about a year ago we did a sale, and the mother was from Germany,
Mhm.
and we found a lot of family history that the family didn't even know anything about. And she married at a very young age and left all of that behind, but she actually documented quite a bit throughout the war.
Mhm. Oh, wow.
They were in occupied Germany, I believe. So, that was pretty interesting,
Yeah.
and to give this back to the family was kind of a neat feeling.
Yeah, so to
Um,
pass down that heritage, that's really
yes. Yeah. Yeah. And they're, the grandchildren and things like that. So, yeah. I don't know. It's funny. Each sale is very different, just like the person that, lived there.
Mhm.
You get to know the people very well, I will say, just by things on their bookshelves or the way they cook.
Mhm.
You learn the utensils that they use in the cookware, and it's pretty amazing how we're all very different.
Yeah. Yeah. What advice, like, for someone who has just inherited a home,
Mhm.
um, what advice would you give them? in terms of should they like how much time should they spend in the house before they call you? Should you be one of their first calls? How far out are you booking?
Yes, I always say that the realtor and the estate sale person are the first two phone calls that they should make. It's important for them to start to go through things.
Mhm.
However, it's very overwhelming. And that's part of what our commission is to be able to pull things out and bring those things to their attention. So it's easier on us if they don't start going through everything and pulling things out, because then it's not a mess. It's more
Right.
organized on our end of it. And it's easier for us to keep it organized. If they aren't comfortable with that, we tell them, go ahead, earmark what you're going to take, go through everything, and then we can start after you're done. Typically, we book about a month out.
Oh,
Um,
really? Okay.
yes. Now, our busy season, I will say, is in the summer,
Mhm.
early fall, and sometimes that can be up to a couple months. But we try to leave holes in our schedule, a lot of times, because we do work with, like you,
Mhm.
you'll
Right.
call and say, I'm in a bind. Do you have a slot open?
I
The
need
house
to fill this
sold
house before.
overnight.
Yeah.
We need to have it cleaned out, so we try to do that also. So we're not just set in stone where, no, you have to book us out, 6 weeks out or whatever. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
always ways around it. I will, on that note, say too, sometimes people don't think they have enough for an estate sale because they have taken a lot. Maybe there's a lot of children, or they've refurnished their house, or they've downsized and moved, and they think, oh, I took half of it. They would be surprised what we can make out of what they still have,
That's
and what
awesome.
sale that we can come up with. So I always tell them, don't discount it until you call.
Okay. So you'll come out and walk through and say yes or no. So and
Yes.
is there any charge for that for when they
No,
call
there
you?
is no
Okay.
charge. There's no charge. And a lot of times too, if we think there isn't enough for an estate sale, we do come up with another option for them. We do have, like I said, we have a clean out person, and then we
Mhm.
also have buyout. Sometimes we can suggest a third party. We don't do our own buyouts, but
Mhm.
I do have people that, would come in and they would still make some money on the items that are left. So it's a good option. I know you and I recently worked with a client, and they, the furniture, they had moved most of it out, but they did have clothing.
Mhm.
And so we came up with the option of selling the vintage clothing. So
Thank you so much. I know you really went out of your way to help her with that.
it wasn't as good as I thought, but we tried.
Well, it took a lot of your time and it didn't really produce a huge return. And I know you did it just to help her get,
However,
like
we got another sale out of it.
get through the
You
transaction.
Yeah. But we got another sale because someone else in that area saw our sign. So, and that's the thing about our company I want to really express, is we are not just in the business to do estate sales to make money. It was
Mhm.
established to help people. And
Mhm.
so we try never to turn a client down. We always try to lend a helping hand, whether it's with a realtor or a homeowner, or a a child of someone that's dealing. It's a very sensitive industry, I would
Mhm.
say, because you
Yeah.
are dealing with people's lives, and it doesn't matter if they just started collecting something for a year ago, they're attached to it. And
Yeah.
so, you have to be sensitive to all of that.
Yeah. Cause it's usually like most of the people are still grieving,
They
you know?
are. They truly are. And because we did start a business on, that kind of note,
Mhm.
we understand that. We don't just come in and start pulling out and making a mess, and, oh, look at this, and this is good money, and it's not all about that.
Right.
So we try to remember that.
Yeah. No, that's one of the most emotional parts, especially, I
Mhm.
mean, it, in any case, even the people who were downsizing and going on this new adventure,
I'm
they
sure you
raised,
see a lot of that. I'm
they
sure you
raised
do.
their kids there. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, they were still going on a great adventure. They had a lot to look forward to. They were together, but they were saying goodbye to some of the like happiest times of their life when they sold everything and sold that house. So yeah, it's the emotions are real.
We just try to guide them and say, okay, this is the next process. This is the next step. Here we go. You can do this. Do this, then call me. Do this, report back. They need encouragement. That's what we give them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy, pretty fun.
Yeah. I imagine it is like, it's all of the emotions all at once.
Yes, it is.
So other people watching this podcast might not be in need of an estate sale right now, but they might just be watching it to learn a little bit more about St. Louis. So we're gonna
Okay.
do the lightning round.
Okay. Here we
Okay.
go.
All right. So favorite weekend evening date night kind of restaurant?
I like anything on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ambience down there. I think that's a fun, I like comfort food. So to me, that's a good place.
Favorite place to get out of the city, like a weekend drive trip, like less than 5 hours?
We go 8.
You do 8, right?
We do 8. We do Michigan. I would tell anyone that wants to get away. We did Florida for years and years and years with our kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then we found Michigan, and it's a great spot. Winter, summer, all seasons. So that would be my go-to. But I'd say just a quick trip out of St. Louis. Gosh, I mean, you have your wineries that are close. Springfield is a great place. Springfield, Illinois, by the way. We've spent time there. That's a fun. And it depends on, kids or no kids too. So
yeah, we haven't taken the kids to Springfield. I think that's
it's neat. Yeah.
They're probably right. They're 8 and 10 now. So that's probably,
Yes.
I ask these questions for myself, really. What can I do this weekend?
Another great little place is Hannibal. Have you been to Hannibal? I love Hannibal. And the other place that I think is really cool is college football games. You can pick up cheap bleacher seats or something, and that is always such a fun time.
That is a great
Yeah.
idea. Yeah. Wyatt just got into football this year, so I know everything there is to know about Patrick Mahomes.
You do. Yes. So college is fun.
That is a great idea, because he was like, let's go to a Chiefs game. I was like, buddy, what kind of you didn't get that much money for Christmas.
I know. But Mizzou is great. That's halfway.
Yeah, and it's halfway. That's such a good idea. Okay, I love these questions. All right, so normally I would say, what's your favorite, plan your favorite Saturday, but you're working on Saturdays, so
I would say go to estate sales.
Nice, well done.
Yes, you can spend all day.
Yes, go to estate sales on Saturday. That's the perfect Saturday. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
This was fun. This was fun. Thank you too for everything that you've done for us and recommending us. We really, really appreciate it.
It's the trust factor, right?
It is. It's huge. That's what we tell people. It's huge. You have to establish that relationship, and that's what we do. The first thing going in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to put all of your information in the screenshot and in the description below.
Thanks. I can't wait. This will be fun.